Hi guys, welcome to this video. What you are gonna see here is the iPhone 14 Pro on your left hand side, and on your right hand side guys you can see the Oppo Find X6 Pro. So I'm doing this comparison, the iPhone 14 Pro versus the Oppo Find X6 Pro guys. It's very important to know what is going on here. The Oppo received an update guys, introducing some camera fixes as well as a 2x toggle button, which is actually quite convenient. So I decided to compare it with the iPhone 14 Pro as requested. I already compared the Oppo versus the Xiaomi 13 Ultra and the S23 Ultra, but now it's time to see how well the Oppo Find X6 Pro stacks again the iPhone 14 Pro, which is the really go-to camera phone for a lot of people out there. 4K 60 FPS on the iPhone guys, and very sadly only 1080p 30 FPS on the Oppo. Even the Xiaomi 13 Ultra can do 60 FPS, and that's not even, I think, the biggest problem. The biggest problem with this phone, with the Oppo and a lot of other phones like this, is the HDR. What does this mean for you guys? Well, check above my head. iPhone is able to preserve the clouds and the sky and very distinctly separate them, and on the Oppo guys, if I'm just facing the sun, it's gonna get really messy. Now you can just see from this shot, if I move my head guys, you can see on the iPhone we can still see the clear sky. Okay, not so clear with some clouds whatsoever in the mountain. On the Oppo guys, we can only see a white band, which is actually this exact HDR problem. But okay, enough with the front camera guys. Now let's see how well the back camera is stuck against the iPhone. Hi guys, this is now the night video or dark video shooting on the front camera guys, and you know that there are the limitations guys. The iPhone still can do 4K 60 FPS and the Oppo sadly can only do full HD or 1080p 30 FPS guys. There is also a lot of noise around me because I'm in a parking lot, but you can listen to the isolation. So don't only pay attention to the visuals, also pay attention to the sound quality of my voice. So this is why it's important to have this scenario. And now guys, I'm gonna jump to the back cameras. I'm gonna start with the ultra wide cameras guys. Now the iPhone 14 Pro has 0.5x, much as we have on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, and on the Oppo we have 0.6x, which is also what we've seen on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Both footage is shot on 4K 60 FPS guys, so appreciate the level of details, specifically where we have some lights and some fonts like white fonts on a yellow background around the light. So this is actually a very ideal scenario to see what those cameras can do when a low light is triggered on guys. So pay attention to the cars on both phones and just check the footage and let me know down below in the comments, what do you think works better. Also pay attention to my voice. It's a rather noisy area here. I've chosen this on a purpose guys. I want to test also the sound quality because I have had some issues with the Oppo Find X6 Pro sound quality in some of the videos. I have now jumped on the 1X, which is using the main or the wide camera. Both phones shooting with 4K 60 FPS, so pay attention guys also to the lines down below, to these artifacts. Usually we know that phones struggle with things like this when a low light scenario are present. This is exactly the case here guys. So also I'm gonna test the stabilization, so I'm going to just start running guys. Pay attention to the line in between. Okay, it's very important that we compare also video stabilization guys. Right now I can say 100% sure that the Galaxy S23 Ultra is unbeaten in that domain, but it's also very important to see how well the Oppo Find X6 Pro is dealing with stabilization, and also the iPhone 14 Pro using optical image stabilization as well as EIS or electronic image stabilization. I'm gonna do one more round of running guys to be able for you to estimate what happens. Pay attention to all the colors that you see on the screen. This is why I'm going to sometimes pause the video so that you are able to see what is going on. There are also a lot of passing cars, which will really help this test and for you also to be able to distinguish what is going on. I am now jumping on 2x, shooting again from the main camera guys. By the way, we only got a 2x toggle on the Oppo when updated to the latest firmware, which I am using. Alright, so pay attention again to all the details, check the shadows if they're good enough or if they're starting to cross somehow. Also check the highlights and let me know what you think down below. I'm going to also initiate a run. okay, to be able to test that sweet stabilization, guys. There is some water right now here, so please check also all the reflections that we are getting from the lights above. And also, guys, I'm gonna stop for a moment for you to be able to appreciate the details. This is very important when we are doing zoom testing, to understand which camera is handling not only lights like in this case, right, like backlit scenarios, but also which camera with zoom is just having more texture and more detail. And now I'm using 3x, guys, on both phones. Wait a moment, there's gonna be a car passing by. Appreciate the level of detail, what comes blurry, what comes more sharp, and let me know down below in the comments, guys, which of the footage you think is better. 3x on both the iPhone 14 Pro, guys, and also on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. And now I'm using the 6x camera, guys. The image on the Oppo in the viewfinder looks really very good compared to what I see on the iPhone 14 Pro. Again, just from what I see on the viewfinder, you will have to tell me, looking at this on your big TV screen or on your phone. I'm going to also slowly move around so that you are able to judge which phone is doing better. 6x on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, guys, should be a hybrid, but it's so good sometimes that we can also almost take it as a lossless optical zoom. And we can just see how the iPhone struggles a bit to get this footage processing. Let me just move around, guys, so that you can just see how fluid or not the video is, guys, and focus now on the details of this car. And the last video test, guys, is gonna be 9x on the iPhone, and specifically I have chosen 10x on the Oppo just because I can, and just, guys, to show you the difference in the video zooming. So the 9x runs on the iPhone 14 Pro and 10x on the Oppo, guys, and you can just see that the iPhone is starting already to lose some of that detail, and the 9x on the Oppo looks almost like optical zoom. You can also see how grumbled and scrambled the details are on the yellow background with the white phone, guys. The iPhone seems to not be able to really get that focus in, and it seems just that the hybrid zoom here is just a bit too much for the iPhone. Also pay attention to the writings when we have the exit, right? It's not so readable. Now I see both phones are introducing a lot of noise, but that's clear because we're using a low light scenario. Let me know down below in the comments, guys, which footage do you think is better? 10x on the Oppo Find X6 Pro or 9x, which is the maximum that you can go with the iPhone 14 Pro. And I'm going to start with the ultra wide 4K 60 FPS footage, though 1.5x on the iPhone, guys, as in the 13 Ultra from Xiaomi, 1.6x on the Oppo. I would say really that the Oppo is handling the back camera HDR far better than they do on the front, which I don't really understand. Is this a hardware limitation, like a crappy sensor used on the front, or something with software processing? But the footage from the back camera is really more pleasant. Okay, 4K 60 FPS, guys, now on the main camera, and we have magnificent weather. This in front of me is the Vitusha mountain with some nice clouds on top of me, and the sun shining very bright. We have this very nice green grass here, almost reminding ourselves of the Windows XP wallpaper, if you're old enough to remember, guys. But forget about this, just take a look at the details, guys, the mountain and the sky and the clouds and also the grass. So check the highlights, check the shadows, which phone is doing better at exposing them, which phone sacrifices details and texture, guys, and which phone in general has a more pleasant picture for your taste. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you decide to buy one of the phones, what matters is your personal preference and taste. Of course, technical details do matter. All right, so we have the 1-inch sensor, guys, in the Oppo, which is a beast. It's a huge sensor, the biggest one in smartphone cameras right now. And let me just do also a slow run to see how the stabilization compares on these both phones. Okay, nothing is gonna be a match to the S23 Ultra. I am shooting 2x on both phones. I believe this is still a crop from the main sensor, but I'm gonna get you close to this building so that you are able to just see any of the differences. And I'm also gonna do a slow pan, guys, so that you are able to appreciate all the footage for some HDR issues, for some highlight clipping whatsoever, and in case, just to let me know down below in the comments which of the footages is better. And now I'm shooting 3x from both phones, guys. I am also going to do a slow pan so that you are able to appreciate what is going on, the detail, all the lack of detail, the HDR and the processing in general. And just tell me in the comments which footage do you prefer, the one shot on the iPhone 14 Pro, which is the left one, or the one on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. This now is the 6x footage, guys, which is hybrid on both phones, guys. But I do believe that Oppo is calling this almost lossless or optical, though it's still hybrid because the Oppo can do 2.x optical zoom, and I do believe that this is going to be a very interesting comparison. A lot of people really do care about the zoom cameras, guys, so this is why I'm putting so much testing into these zoom cameras, and also switching all the lenses. When we're shooting 4K 30 FPS, guys, we can do this also on those phones. Pay attention to the building, guys, and let me know where the details are better compared to what you see on the screen. And now my favorite test, guys. I switched to 4K 30 FPS to start from the ultra wide and cycle through all the lenses on both phones, guys, so that you can see what is going on here. This is really key for me to be able to understand how quick a phone can switch between all the lenses, guys, and if the footage will remain consistent. Now on the Oppo you can go from 0.6 to 18x, guys, so I'm now on 18 and I'm now gonna go down. When I reach the 1x, guys, you're gonna see that the lenses and the sensors, the cameras basically change, and it Oppo, it really happens so smooth. By the way, even right now I am back to the 0.6x. So guys, here it is, the video I wanted to do on the iPhone 14 Pro and the Oppo Find X6 Pro, guys. I am going to finish with this particular scene because I do believe that Oppo as well as Xiaomi need to further improve HDR handling and in general just improve the front camera and put finally 4K 60 FPS. I don't really care so much, but I keep hearing what people want and then want to have 4K everywhere, right? 60 FPS on all the lenses, guys. So let me know down below in the comments, guys, which of the footage you think was better and why do you think so, guys. VST over and bye.